Welcome back to my Creative Chronic Life, and today we are back with another colour along with me from the Magical Worlds book by Johanna Bassford, and this is going to be a day one of our colour along with me in December. I decided to do this little colour along with me to help me kind of do a little bit of fun colouring in all of the colouring books I've got, but I'm still only new to the Magical Worlds book, so I thought let's start with this one for day one and then we will go ahead and change and mix it up. If you have any suggestions or any specific colour along with me's that you'd like to watch in the month of December, do let me know in the comments section below. So I have been in a little bit of a dilemma of where I would like to start or what to colour in. We'll talk about where we are so far. So we've only coloured in obviously the little tropical fish, the floral items. I do really want to start this one sooner rather than later, but I know because I'm currently doing the Christmas Advents as well, I know that I don't have enough memory. I've ordered a memory card over the Black Friday sale, so hopefully that should come and then I'll be able to do like an entire page. Otherwise it means I have to split it between two memory cards, and it's just something that I really don't think is a good idea. So I was thinking maybe one of these on this side. I wasn't quite sure which one. I recently done a mushroom one over on my channel, and this one is very similar to this one with the little house. So I think maybe this corner one here, I think that would be good. I mean, what I am deciding to use is my Arteza 120 coloured pencil expert set, and I recently shared in a previous video that I wanted to pick up a new set of pencils, something that would help me kind of think out of the box. Arteza's fine, like 120 set is very extensive in the coloured pencils, but I've been really keeping my eye on the pastel set, and just because I just sometimes feel like I'd like to do some lighter colours. Here is what we're currently working with at the moment. There's like 4 or 5 trays now. Usually I'm the type of person that I will always put back the colours as they came in the box itself. Not sure why, it's just something that I do, very particular. But when I go to colour in now, and especially when I want to do the larger pieces, it makes it so much harder because then I've got to lay down all the trays, take them all out. I have to then put them here, put them there. So this way I was debating if I should add all like greens together, blues together, yellows together, browns together. So then I need to just take out the one tray and I've got the entire stack of greens. I'm not quite sure if I should or shouldn't do that. Maybe by the time I post this video I probably would have decided. I recently sharpened all of my other previous pencils. These are not too bad, but I thought if I go to, you know, put them all in like the same sections, maybe I could go back in and sharpen all of the pencils at that point. Because having a sharp pencil does definitely help with shading and textures and things like that. So yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on where we're at currently. So what I like to do is maybe have a rough idea. We've done yellow for the other one. I was thinking maybe some pinks, but, and this is a but, the pinks we have, obviously we've got watermelon, and then we've got the salmon pink, coral, and the apricot on this top row. And then we've also got fruit punch, watermelon pink, pink macaron, and pink peony on this row. And then we've got obviously the oranges and the greys, purples, and then obviously the greys, the darker purples, and then some of the metallics here. So in reality there's not that many pinks here. So to be honest, I think if I had a choice, I'd probably have to work on the top 2 trays rather than anything else. So what we'll do is we'll just move these to the side. We'll keep both the trays to the side, and then we will come back in and get this sorted out. I'll be back in a moment. Unfortunately, I lost the first part of the flower. I was just talking about advent calendars, how to lay down the colours, what colours I've used. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why I've completely lost an entire chunk. So we're just going to kind of start off in the next clip. That's okay. So I was saying it's great quality for money if you want to purchase an entire like sticker advent, because then you get like lots of things to start you off for 2025. Not sure why it doesn't want to focus. Let's see if that works again. We've been absolutely fine this entire time. But I've had a few petals where I've showcased how to colour it in, so if one looks a little bit fuzzy, I suppose it's okay. I'm not sure why my camera started doing this, but I used to film very close before, and what I mean is I used to have a tripod and I would lower the tripod to as low as possible and almost like try not to get my hand into the frame, and that would be the best. And I know like it's got to focus on other things, but you know, technically if I double click the camera, it should just focus on what I need it to focus on rather than be, what's the word, focusing on my hands or clothes or anything else like that. As I was saying about the sticker calendars, I think it's great value for money, and I love doing it because it starts me off for 2024, 2025, whatever the year is, and I'm kind of good to go because you get lots of scripts and you get some kits to start you off, and usually, you know, you get extra freebies and things like that. Super interested. Yeah, for some reason that doesn't want to focus anymore, does it? Well, that's what we're currently like at the moment. We will put these 2 colours back, and then maybe if there we go, let's try that. We are going to go with the Hazelnut Brown A309. Now you could use this in a red, you could do it in a different colour, but just under this petal here, we're just going to softly, and when I mean softly, I mean very softly, we're just going to add a little bit of shadowing. And you can see I'm barely pressing on. I'm going to go down the same to each petal, and what that will do is give us a little bit of shadowing, but also look like this petal is above that petal, so as natural you'd get some shadowing anyway. So it's the 1st of December when you see this. Leave me a comment below letting me know if you're at work, at home, do you have some time off, Will you be celebrating Christmas? If you do, what's your favourite meal? We don't celebrate Christmas, but in our family we've always had a tradition, because I'm mixed race, so we always just still have a Christmas dinner, but we just don't call it a Christmas dinner. We have everything, either depending on, you know, the type of year, mood, turkey, chicken, lamb, that type of stuff, all the trimmings. So we usually have that, but I've been isolating for the past 5 years every winter, so unfortunately, like, I've missed out. So me and my husband have started our own tradition where we make our own dinner, and he's doing really well, considering, you know, from his culture they don't even know what gravy is. So this way it's kind of nice that he now enjoys having gravy. He loves to have like, we call them Yorkshire puddings, but they're not like the normal Yorkshire puddings that like puff up. These are the flat ones that you make, almost like pancakes, but savoury pancakes. He absolutely loves them. So it's been a lovely tradition to have between us, to be able to cook ourselves a meal, and then we have leftovers. We make bubble and squeak. If you don't know what bubble and squeak is, it's basically all of your leftovers cut up, so all your veggies, you know, all your chicken meats, whatever. Usually I take the meat out and I put it separately, because both my husband doesn't like it, and so do I. Sometimes I don't like it, so I always keep the meat separately. I shred that separately, and then we chop up all of the veggies, everything that we have eaten, whether that's sweet, sprouts, parsnips, carrots, everything. We chop it up into small pieces, put it in a big pan. Well, we chop it up, and then I always kind of freeze some, and then we keep a container in the fridge, and then just when we want to eat it at dinner time, we add like a little knob of butter in a pan, and then we fry that off in the pan, and it gets all crispy. And traditionally you're meant to eat it just with some butter and bread, and then either have gravy or brown sauce. That's kind of the way that we've always enjoyed it in our family, and it's just something that I find like very comforting, and my husband absolutely loves it now as well. We are just going to think about what colour we want to do this middle part. As you can see now, I've added in the shadows underneath, so you can see how like that almost adds a little bit of depth to the petals. You can always add to colour, you can't take away, so I would always, if I'm not sure if I want to add anything else to the petals, I move on to the next. So we will go for a little bit of a darker green here, and we have some forest green, which is forest green A614, and I'm going to do a mixture. It's going to gently, and I mean very gently, go over. When I say gently, you can always see some white spots in between, and that just allows us to build up the colour, because I'm not 100% sure if I kind of want this colour. I will add another colour over this though, and we have fern green A612. So that's always been a tradition of ours as well, and usually we, because it's two of us, we don't tend to eat, we only get like something small chicken, something like that, you know, one head of broccoli, one head of cauliflower, and even though that ends up becoming a lot, is too much for two people, but mainly we make it that much so that we can have it the next day as bubble and squeak. And I always freeze some, so I let everything cool down, chop it up, put it into a freezer bag, and then store it in a container and keep it in the freezer, and that lasts up to 6 months. And then when we need it and we fancy it, we just take it out. It takes kind of like all of the I'm going to say prep work, possibly, yeah, prep work out of making a meal, because you've already put the effort in. So yeah, that's what I enjoy doing leading up to obviously the time off on Christmas, etc. And then New Year we usually do the same thing in terms of food, but we try to make like either do like lamb chops in gravy, or like a different type of roast dinner. Doesn't have to have all the trimmings, We do actually like to have lamb chops or tandoori chicken with naan bread, sweet corn, roasted potatoes. So it's like a mixture of, you know, a fusion of both. So again, I'm just going over with the fern green very lightly. And there's a reason for this, because I want to add in passion fruit. I thought I had it. So we're going to add in passion fruit red A212. And we're just very softly using the tape. We're just going to expand across the middle and the end. You can see the difference. It's very subtle, but it does help with all the kind of shadows and depths and things like that. Now, like I said, I don't have a plan for this. I just kind of think, okay, let me go with this color. I want it to be a little bit dark or a little bit moody. I need to be quite light. But I know that some people that colour in like to have a plan. So I would then just pick a couple of greens, a couple of pinks, a couple of reds, and just work with a smaller palette. If you don't want to be like overwhelmed by it all, always work with a smaller palette of colours. Okay, and then I have, I think is it matcha green? Yes, matcha green, and this is in the A609, and where we've just filled that colour in, we are just going to go over that. And it kind of brings it back to being a little bit lighter without it being too in your face as such. And that is the kind of greenery petals done. Now we have a choice of yellows. We have sunflower yellow, turmeric yellow, and I think I'm going to go with the sunflower yellow first. And this is sunflower yellow A106. And we are just going to put down a base of colour. And then we will take the turmeric yellow, which is the turmeric yellow A107, and we were just going to go around the outer, pressing as hard as we can. And that same brown we used earlier to kind of shadow around the bottom of the pencils, the A309, we are going to use that now and just gently shade outside on the corners of that circle. Usually like the middle part is a little bit higher than the rest. I mean, a great way to be able to, you know, copy a flower is just to search for pink flowers on Google and then bring them up, and what you can do is kind of copy as much as you can through the picture, and that's a great way to learn shadowing. I just really kind of go for it, to be honest. So what I'm going to do now is where we've added a depth here and here, we are just going to go around the petals, because of course we've got this little section here, not on every and we're just going to bring that up. So not going to go all the way around, just where it stops here, and that should help us with, again, the shadow and the depth. Now I know people like to add light back into these petals, but I don't have a Posca. I need to invest in one, to be honest. I may go back in and, like, once I've picked up a Posca, I used to have white gel pens which I love to add colour to, like silver and gold, and then they kind of dried out and I've never picked them up again, but I may pick up a couple of Poscas this weekend. I will be nipping to Hobbycraft. I always worry about doing colour along with me as well I chat, because sometimes I feel like I go off on a tangent and then I can't remember what I actually was talking about. And I know I've got another friend online that does talking points, and she always laughs and says when I do the talking points I go off on one talking point and before I realise I haven't even done the other 3-4, and then we are literally stuck kind of like remembering what we were talking about. And sometimes I feel like oh, am I talking too much? Now here in the middle here where we've got this section, we are just going to take the same hazelnut brown and we're just going to soften that corner. Not too much, just a little bit. And colouring doesn't have to be precise, so you can see like I'm not really taking care. And that is the first petal done. I think I'd like to go over, I'm just going to have a look and bring up the Arteza to see. I do have a white, so I think maybe I'm going to see if I can add a little bit of colour in. So of course the first thing is we will sharpen this pencil, because I don't think I've sharpened it since I've got it. The rule with most pencils is when you buy them you sharpen them so you get a nice point, and then like that waxiness will disperse. So white quartz A1 A001, and then we will try to add, to see if it will let me add. I mean that's very subtle, you can't see that, and that's what I always become afraid of. So this here now, this point, do not rub it, and I just blow if I don't have anything else with me. So I'm going to go over the entire flower, and hopefully A, that should blend everything in, but B, it should lighten that petal. And it does. You can visibly see the difference between that one and that one. And sometimes I can go back in. I very rarely go back in, if I'm honest, just because I don't usually make it dark on purpose. I mean, I do usually make it dark on purpose. I'm not really bothered if it isn't like, you know, fully light, but for today's purposes we will go in and we will blend out. You can buy blending stubs, they called, or stumps, which I have, but I don't really like using them, only because I feel like I make a mess of the colour more than anything else. And that is that petal complete. Now you can see here, just going to see if it lets you, yeah, it's got a little bit of the colour left over, and I would definitely make sure that I clean that off before I put it away. Otherwise, if you use, like, let's say a pink here and a different colour here, you're going to end up like mixing both the colours. So now that we are back, I'm not sure if I want to do what colour to do this one in. So sometimes what I like to do is, if I'm not 100% sure, I have a look and think, well, what colours would go best with this particular flower. and you can have like lilacs or dark pinks, purples, but I think that I would like to try an orange would be lovely. I'm just going to have a look and see what oranges we've got in the tray. This is the set we have. We've got pumpkin, orange, Tuscan, marmalade, peaches, and then obviously we've got these yellows. I think we will try to do orange for this one. Next flower here. So I will start with the Tuscan Sun, which is A108. I'm just going to move the colouring book along, and again we're just going to repeat the process, get a bit of colour down, and then we can go ahead and build. I think what I'll do now is I will add some music over the top, and then we'll come back in a minute. I'm just going to use the exact same concept as I did, have a base colour very lightly, and then I will pick another colour to go over the edges in the corner, and then a third colour to kind of make the middle pop a little bit, use the second colour to blend again, and then we'll come back to add any shading. colours. I did a base and then I added a corner section in the middle, and now we are back with this Coyote Brown A303. And now what I like to do is, if the two colours are different, so like a pink and an orange, I like to change up the shading as well and the green, because then obviously that means that the colours in itself, obviously the shading will be different too. So we're just going to go under, because I think for the pink petal you'd see a little bit more of a brown shading, whereas something like an orange you'd probably see a little bit more of the lighter greens come through. So I thought we would use this Coyote green to do the shading under the petals. And that's that there. And again, I'm just keeping a very light hand. Now in the previous one we used the forest green, the dark green, and then I think we went over with the matcha. I think I want to go with the chartreuse green the chartreuse A103, which is a type of green, and we will make them a little bit on the lighter side, because I feel like orange is always a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to go with the lime green A600. Just going to make them, I'm going to press quite hard, but this time round I'm going to also colour in the tips. Okay, and then we will use Abernstein green A602 to just blend. And that's very quick, easy, simple. Couple of petals down, and then we will be using for this one Sapphire Yellow A101, and again going with that kind of light theme. we will just, and this time round, to do the shading, as we went in with the kind of, you know, the brown around there, I'm going to just go with the sunflower yellow, and it's going to be the most subtle shading, but you should be able to see it. And there we go. That is the petal somewhat done. We are then going to take the coyote brown, and we are going to do the same thing and just bring that colour around to add some shadow. But I'm not going to go as heavy-handed as I did on the pink, because like I said, the orange is a lighter colour, the green is lighter. It's almost like, obviously this flower isn't as fully grown as this one, so the colours are not as developed. I'm going to take that same coyote brown and just going to go around the middle of the flower, and then I'm taking the same green, but I'm not going to go on the outside of the petal like we did here. We're just going to go on the inside of the petal, and that almost is going to give it that lifted up feel to it. Now somebody might ask, well, how do you know how to do this? Or just by practice, look of eye. Also, I like to watch a lot of colouring videos in my day-to-day life, and that's probably how I get, you know, these colours in particular. Okay, that is the flowers done from as far as I can tell. I don't think I'm going to add anything else at the moment. I don't need to blend anything in terms of using a white pencil. So now we need to colour in the stems. So we picked up the Abernstein green, and we're just going to follow that round. I'm going to leave this side a different green, and then I'm going to go in with the mint green A606, and just at the roots I'm going to make it darker, and over here and just gently blend, same here. But now I'm going to take the green and just gently bring it up, because I want it to look like this has darkness and this has lightness. Does that make sense? Even though, how can I explain? Even though this is the bigger lamp, you'd expect this to be darker, but I'm going to do it the opposite way around. We're going to go in with the spearmint green A610. We're going to take the hazelnut brown again, A309, and we're just going to bring this down. Take it across, and then I'm going to just shade a little bit. Because I've already got the pencil out, saves me having to go back and forth. And now here comes the decision. I think we'll go forest green. Forest green A614. We're going to go almost like in circular motions along the petal. And don't worry, you can always come back in, add some shading, which we will do. And when you do smaller circular motions, it gives it almost like a textured feel. And I think I'm going to use the same forest green on this side, only because I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to use this fern green, just as we used earlier on. And we're just going to go over. And I'm using a very light hand again, not too dark, not too light. We're going to leave that one for now and just concentrate on this one. Still using the same fern green, we are now going to take the sharper side, so the alternative side, and we're going to go and deepen the edge on this side. It to look almost as if like the leaf is half up, half down. And that's what we're going to use for the fern green. And then I am going to use emerald green A613. You can see how it gives it that effect of like the leaf is half up, half down, just by adding a little bit of shading. We're going to go back in with the fern green A612 and we're just going to darken under here. I hope you can see like that effect a bit better. We're not going to worry too much about anything else. We're going to take the emerald green and we're just going to go okay. We will then take the forest. We will take the spearmint green A610 and we're just going to gently blend. and hopefully that should still give us our two-toned effect, which it still does. So we're going to take the spearmint green A610 and we are going to do the same thing again, except just use some lighter colours. Going in with the parakeet green, going in with the parakeet green A607. Okay. And then we will take the emerald green again, and we're just going to darken up the edges. And then we're going to take the fern green. Now if you don't want to use as many colours as I have, you don't have to. All you really need to concentrate on is just using 2 colours to darken the edges, and then hopefully now you can see like the leaf effect where it looks like it's almost bent down over, and you can see the lighter shade and the darker shade. It should now like show a little bit different. All we're going to do is we're going to take the Coyote Brown A303 and we are going to go over Okay, so now that we've got the same Coyote Brown A3013, we are just going to just gently go over the outsides. Same again on this side, just gently. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. And then for these little teeny tiny bud things, we are going to go in with the Abernstein green, and that is the A602. Just going to colour in. I'm not going to worry too much about the shading part, but I am going to go back in with the original hazelnut brown A309 and just under the petals just gently, and the same on this side. Okay, and we're going to go over the lines just gently. Okay. I'm going to put this back, and then for these little lamps here, I'm just going to do one colour. I don't think I'm going to bother doing anything else. A6, so the smoke grey A606, and we are just going to shade across. Do the same on the other side. Steel grey A6 A007. Okay, and then I have to decide if I want it to have like a warm glow, soft glow. So I think I will go with the turmeric yellow A107 for the flames. And then I think we will go Tuscan Sun A108. And then we will go lemon yellow A104. Just to blend everything together. Okay, and then I think what I want to do is go back in with the orange A113 and just almost as if like it's and the same on this side, as if like the light's almost hitting it a little bit too hard, not too light, not too dark. We will go over in Peaches and Cream A200. That's just going to help blend if anything else. And then we'll go in with the White Quartz A001. And then we'll go in with the White Quartz A001 and just blend. It is when I wish they really did have like a Posca pen, because then I could really add some shadows. And that is the entire flower done. I used a little bit of the grey to make it dark and then light, so almost like it's like a metal container just hanging off of these really pretty flowers. You can see where I've added in the darkness of the orange, because that's where the light would be reflecting, and then of course the flowers with the shadow and the depth. And this is how you manage to get a little bit of depth and a little bit of lightness and darkness. I mean, I used obviously pinks, oranges, greens, browns, but to shadow I just used a brown, 2 different shades of brown. I mean, if you wanted to, you could use the same hazelnut brown to shadow everything, but then it would look almost like one-dimensional. So having 2 browns definitely helps with the shadowing for sure. But I really like how that turned out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you'll be using similar techniques or colouring along with me to do this if you've got the same colouring book. And if you're using different pencil sets, that's absolutely fine. I of course shared the colours and the names so that if you do have the same set you can colour in together. But if you don't have the same set, you can also find the nearest colour match and you will end up producing a similar flower kind of scene. But I think it's always unique. Every variation is different. If you pop over to YouTube and you look at other people, I've had you know, somebody colour in this bottom one almost similar to me, but the yellows were a little bit different. They were actually reversed and the little home was different, but again we use the same coloured pencils and that's fine. Everybody has their own unique taste, has their own unique way, but the whole point is it allows you to be able to have 10-15 minutes if you're a fast person who colours in, an hour if you're somebody who doesn't, maybe longer. if just to be able to have that time to relax and focus on what's in front, rather than continually, you know, allowing everything else to come into your mind. That's what colouring does for me anyway. I'm sure you've seen the memes and TikToks where it's like, oh, you hear like so much background noise and then they read a book and it goes silent. For me, that's also colouring and reading, because I have more than one hobby, but definitely more when I'm colouring. Like, I can just concentrate on the strokes, the colours, the feel, the sound of the pencil against the paper. You know, really, really relaxing to me. And I love to, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to share, is to make it that other people in the world are not afraid of adult colouring, because people usually, you know, think about colouring as baby colouring, but this is very, very different from baby colouring or like young children colouring in. You can have so many techniques, do it in black and white, use felt tip pens, Posca pens, you know, watercolours, paints, acrylics, coloured pencils. The list is on and on and on. So many fun techniques. But I hope you've all enjoyed day one of the December colour along with me. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because I'm not quite through all the way till the end of December as yet. So if you do have any specific one that you're not sure how to colour in, or maybe you'd like to say, look, I'm thinking about reds, blues, pinks, can you maybe do something similar, or can you share using these pencil sets? Of course, I'll try and use what I've got. If I don't, maybe we could come up with similar colours and I can help you out. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching this colour along with me. I've definitely enjoyed colouring in, and I do hope you've enjoyed a little bit of my waffling. I know I usually like to put music over, but today I thought I would talk a little bit and catch up. Let me know your thoughts below. Also, let me know what your favourite meal on Christmas is. That'd be nice to be able to have a starter conversation. If you're not following me over on social media, you can follow me over on Instagram, Facebook, Threads app and TikTok at My Creative Chronic Live. I also have a book talk, which is MCCL Book Talk. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the bell icon to receive notifications of upcoming videos. I have been posting 3 to 4 times per week. Of course, in December that changes because you get 2 videos, one Advent and then one colour along with me, and then you may get a third on a weekend where I share my budget planner or my weekly planner, whatever I've got going on in the week, or a bonus video. So lots and lots of exciting stuff coming out. So if you keep the bell notification, it just sends you a little notification to let you know that I've shared a video. You can then save that into your playlist to watch later, or you can watch it directly as when I load it up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. That's all we've got time for. Until next time, bye bye.